Hi everyone. Welcome to my regular Tuesday live. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. As always, you're going to just take a couple seconds to get connected and to make sure I pop up in people's news feed so that everybody can find me. I hope everyone is well. There we go. Hi, Pam. So I want to thank you for popping on to watch my videos. I really have been enjoying creating for you all, and I hope that you enjoy the fun projects that I have brought to you. I've been doing this for only about 7 months now, but it does seem like it's been forever. It was really nerve-wracking and made me nervous at first, but now I kind of just wing it and I let it happen. So I appreciate everyone that pops on and watches my videos, and I want to thank you and also those watching the replays. I thank you as well. Whether you watch them here on Facebook or on YouTube, I appreciate you guys watching. Hi Shelly, hi Kathy, hi Pam. I don't have a whole lot to share with you today. Just one reminder that I have is that if you want to get in on the April Paper Pumpkin, the deadline to sign up is Friday. So feel free to message me or email me if you need any help or want some more information about Paper Pumpkin. So I just have a couple of little cute Easter projects for you tonight, and I'll just show you them while we're waiting for people to find me. I had to get really creative tonight because I wanted to bring you a couple of fun Easter projects, and then I realized I don't have any Easter stamps. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I did find this little Easter bunny in our March Paper Pumpkin kit. There happened to be a little bunny, and then the Easter blessing comes out of the Itty Bitty Greeting set. So I kind of paired those together. And my second little project, this little Easter basket, actually doesn't have any stamps, but you could add your own sentiment, or if you wanted to add a stamp on there, you could do that as well. But so these are the two little projects that we're going to make this evening. I am going to just jump right in. We're going to start with my little Easter basket. So this guy actually is not my original idea. I've seen these all over the internet, and I thought, oh, that'll be fun. I'm going to try it out and see what I can come up with on my own. Mine's probably a little bit bigger than a couple that I've seen, but I have teenage boys, so I'm going to put some more stuff in there. But if you were you could make this on a smaller scale if you wanted to do it for a coworker or something. You could do that as well. So we're going to start with this little Easter basket project. So the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. Mine is Pool Party, and it measures 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then I have another piece of the Pool Party that measures a 1/2 inch by 8 1/4, and this is going to serve as the handle to our basket. Hi, Sue. All right, so I'm going to take out my scoreboard, and this one is pretty simple. So we're just going to score at 2 3/4 and at 5 1/2, and then we're going to rotate. And we're going to score at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. And that's all the scoring that we have for this guy. So then I'm going to take my scissors, and because this is bigger, I like to use a longer pair of scissors. And I'm just going to snip up on this side. I'm going to cut a little bit out, and then I'm going to snip up on this side. And again, I'm just going to cut a little bit out of that tab. And then we're going to turn it around, and we're going to do it to the other side. Just going to cut up straight. And then on this one. And there. Hi, Angela. All right, so this is what we're left with. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to burnish our little score lines here. And on the other side. So these middle tabs, we don't actually need them to be this long, and you're not going to see them. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or so off of those. They're just going to give you some stability, and they're also going to close up the bottom of your box so you don't have any gaps and stuff slipping out from the inside of your box. So we're going to first glue those. So see, I've just cut them down just a little bit. And you can see they're not straight. It doesn't matter, you're not going to see them. And I'm going to pull up one side. I'm going to glue that. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to put some glue on my little tab. And I'm going to glue the other side. Okay, so then I'm going to take my handle, and I wanted to sandwich it in between. So number one, you're not going to see it, and number two, it really just gives you some more stability. So I'm going to glue it on one side, sort of eyeballing the center, and then I'm going to glue it to the other side. And I'm going to see if I can get it in the center there. There we go. And you can make your handle as long or as short as you want. All right, so now we're going to glue these pieces. So I'm going to glue here. And I'm going to go ahead and glue here. And we're going to just fold that up inside like that. So now we're sandwiching our handle. And we're making our box nice and sturdy here, our basket. Nice and sturdy. Like that. All right. So now I have some pieces of Designer Series paper. These are from the, is it Parisian Blossoms? Let me see here. Oh, Parisian Blossoms. Imagine that, I got it right. So this is just matches. It's Pool Party out of this Parisian Blossoms paper pack here. And I'm going to flip it to the back side of each of the strips. And I have 8 strips, so there's going to be 2 on each side. And what I found easier is to just go ahead and I'm going to hit them all with glue all at the same time on one end. So I'm going to glue each of them a little bit on one end, and it just makes putting it all together a little bit faster. So now what I'm going to do is take my little strips, and I'm going to go in about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to set that there and glue it down. So I'm going to do the same from the other one. I'm going to come in about 1/4 of an inch from the other side. Oop, make sure it's straight. I'm going to glue those down. So now these are just sort of floating free, but I've got this side glued down. And I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. And I use liquid glue again because you can maneuver things around. So if you don't get it straight the first time, you can slide it around, or you can accidentally move it like I just did. Just gives you a little wiggle room. Okay, so there's that. And that. And the last one. here and here. All right, so now we're going to take the glue. And for this one, I'm just going to do 2 at a time. So I'm just going to, again, just put a little glue on the very end of the strip. And we're going to fold it up. And we're going to have a meet at the bottom down there. So it's going to line up here. And this is where you're gluing the other side. All right. Apparently I didn't hold it there long enough. There we go. And then the same here. Okay. The glue is making me a liar. Try again. If at first you don't succeed, right? And this side. How is everybody doing this week? Everybody crafting in their quarantine? Or are you still quarantined, I should say? Some of us are not able to be home too much. It is a good use of scraps. I thought you can see that one of these strips does not go the same direction because I did use scraps on them, but that's all right. I'm probably going to give these to teenage boys, so they probably won't even realize that I actually made it. So, you know, we'll see. It just gives a little dimension on the little box. Oh, goodness. I think my glue dried faster than I can get it down. I mean, you certainly could use like tear tape or something on these. I wouldn't use the snail adhesive because it just doesn't stay. It's good for card making and whatnot, but when you're making a box, the snail adhesive just doesn't stay together. The tear tape would work. I just like the wiggle room that the liquid glue allows you. You've been making face masks, Shelly? I have a lot of people that are doing that. We've had a lot dropped off at the hospital, which is nice. We have a lot of staff that have been wearing them, non-clinical staff, so works out nicely. And the hospital is actually laundering them, so they grab one in the morning, they can wear it for their shift, and then they drop them off to be laundered at night, so that's really nice. Especially during this time of PPE shortage, it's very helpful, so I appreciate that. I'm sure everyone does. Okay. So there we go. So there's our little basket. Just gives it a little bit of dimension, adding those little scraps to it. So for the side, for one side, I just took a piece of our crinkle seam binding. So this is the, I'm going to call the color wrong. Goodness gracious. Why can I not come up with the name? Anyway, it's our yellow crinkle seam binding. Crushed curry. There we go. I have been starting some home projects as well, Kathy, which is nice. We have a little entryway off the back of our house that has been horrid since we moved in, so I just ripped out all the walls and ripped up the floor in hopes that we have some tile that I had purchased, well, let's go 4 years ago, and it's never gotten put down. So that is next on my agenda. I'm going to tile my entryway and redo the walls. And when we had our Great Dane, she was a chewer, so she did some damage to that area. Okay, so for the other side, I just made some flowers. Again, I thought, you know, spring flowers, they'd be cute on a little Easter basket. So I used my mini daisy punch, and I punched 3 of the little daisies out of So Saffron. So all I did to give them this little dimension here is take my bone folder, and I'm just going to curl up the ends. And the one on the inside, I'm going to curl quite a bit. You have to be careful when you're curling them because sometimes you'll pull off the petals, but so I'm just going to use my thumb and curl the petals right around my bone folder. Just to give them a little dimension. And then I'm also going to take some dimensionals, like that. I'm going to take some of our mini dimensionals, and I'm going to put it in between the layers. So my bottom layer is going to get a mini dimensional, and then I'll put the second daisy on, and I'm going to stagger it a little bit so it fills in the daisy petals. And then I'm going to put another dimensional, and I'm going to put my last daisy. Again, it's just staggering it a little bit. So it just gives it, fills in the flower a little bit and gives it a little dimension. And so I had a second one that I already did. I had just a little, these are just some little gold gems that I had. You could use any gem that you had, so on hand. I had these little ones that I was going to use up. Use my handy dandy take your pick tool. And there we go. So there's the little flowers that are going to go on the side. I'm actually going to put these on again with the liquid glue because it'll make it stay. And the flower won't pop off. Okay, so maybe that was a little too much. I got a little crazy there. And I'm going to stagger them a little bit. So I'm going to put one down here. And I'm going to put the other up here. Like so. So now we have some little flowers on the side. Like that. So there's our little basket. I had some little shreddy that I had. And I'm going to fill in my basket here. And then it's ready for whatever you want. I had some, of course, who doesn't like a little Cadbury egg around this time of the year? I had just some little treat bags that I filled with jelly beans and tied some of our Bill Baker's twine on there. And then my boys also like gum, so I'm just I'll put a little packet of gum in there as well. And of course I would make it a little prettier. Pull out some of the shreddy, but there you go. So there's our first little project, a little Easter basket, which would be fun. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. And my next little project is this cute little milk carton. Has a little mini clothespin. and this one holds a Cadbury egg as well. It's big enough so you could actually put 2 Cadbury eggs, or you could put a little bag of something. You could do all kinds of different things in this little thing. But this designer series paper is actually out of our, let me see what it's called, the golf paper, which I can't put my fingers on right now, but it has all kinds of argyle prints. Here it is. So this is the Country Club designer series paper. It has all kinds of different golf designs on it. Some argyle, some flags, little golf carts, and then on the other side there's more, of course, different patterns. The plaids. This is the pattern that we're going to use today. So anyway, it has all kinds of cool manly patterns that you could use for some manly cards, even if they're not golfers, because the other side is not golf related, like this one. So I'm going to use this pattern. On the inside, it has the golf pattern, which actually matches the Cadbury egg. But all right, so this is my little close clip. We'll set that aside. So I'm going to start with my piece of designer series paper, and this measures 5 3/4 by 7.5. Take out my scoreboard again. On the short side, we're going to score it at, and if the pattern matters, this over here is going to be the bottom. So if you're using a pattern that you want to make sure it's going up and down, this here is going to be your bottom. You're going to score it at 1 3/4. And that's it for the short side. On the long side, we're going to score it at 1 3/4, at 3.5, at 5 1/4, and at 7. So when I'm making boxes and designing boxes, I like to give myself a little bit of a pattern. So this is what I came up with, but I wanted to make sure that I had this to show you because it's going to be hard to see these lines on the video. In person, it's not as bad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut some little divots, as I usually do when I'm making boxes. So we're going to cut at an angle here and here. We are going to leave one of the tabs on the bottom whole because that is going to be, of course, the bottom of your box, and you want to just cover that all up at the end. Okay, so there we have. This is a super easy little box, bag, whichever you'd like to call it. We'll just burnish all the lines. You could probably even put a couple of golf balls in here. That would be a cute little gift for a golfer. Alright, so to glue it together, we're going to, I have this little tab on the end here. We're going to flip it over, and that's where we're going to get the glue to start. And then it's just going to fold in half onto itself here, just like that. Looks like I got something on there. There we go. Now it's gone. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the bottom. So I'm just going to fold in the 2 tabs. There's the 3rd tab. That one's going to get some glue. And then the one that we left whole is what's going to be on the bottom, so it doesn't show all of our little tabs there. I'm going to give mine a little trim because for some reason I have a little extra hanging out here. Okay, there we go. So you could use it actually just like this. You could put a little shreddy in there, and then you could put your Cadbury egg or your golf balls or whatever it is that you're going to put in there. But all I did to finish it off was I pinched the sides like so, and that's how I finished off my bag. So I'll go ahead and get a little clip. So I just had these mini clothesline, what am I want to call it? My words are hard tonight. Okay, so that guy's going to go there. So that's how we are going to close it. And I'm going to start with the bunny. So you need a piece of a scrap of Whisper White. And this little guy, this little bunny actually came out of, like I said, the March Paper Pumpkin. Had this little bunny with the rubber boots that we used last week, which I adore. I'm going to stamp the bunny in the basic gray ink. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color him just a little bit. So I have a one of our Stampin' Blends light Flirty Flamingo marker. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's time for me to go to bed. I'm just going to hit his little ears with some color. I gave him a little pink in the cheeks and his little nose there. And then I'm going to do the same with the light gray. This is the light smoky slate. I'm just going to shade him a little bit. I'm not going to color him all in. I'm just going to give him just a little bit of shading around the edges, just to give him a little dimension here. Like that. Super cute. It's a cute little bunny. Alright, then I'm going to use my 2-inch hole punch. And my 2-inch circle punch. And I'm going to punch him out. Like so. Alright, so in my little kit here, I have just a piece of the Granny Apple Green. This measures 1.5 by 3/4. And we used to have some scissors that did this, but all I did was just take my snips and I just randomly cut up. You don't want to cut all the way through, of course. I'm going to give yourself maybe 3/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch at the top here. And I'm just making myself a little grass at the bottom. And then I just bent it up a little bit. I agree. I like having the little paper pumpkin stamps on hand. If I hadn't had that little guy, I would have 0 little Easter stamps, but I wanted to do some fun little Easter projects tonight. So I had to get extra creative, I guess. Alright, so I just zhuzhed up my little grass here a little bit. And I'm going to run some glue along the top where we did not cut. And I'm going to glue that over, just down at the bottom over his little butt. Like that. Then I took some pieces. These all come out of our Varied Vase punch. So let me just grab it and I'll show you. So this is our Varied Vase punch, and as you can see I use this greenery piece here and the little tulip flower here so that I could add just a little bit more spring to my bunny. So I'm going to take it, I'm just going to glue down the little pieces of grass. And I tried to alternate the way, different way they were going so that I could fill in my little circle here. I have also found that I like the paper pumpkins for traveling because I am an early riser, and when I travel with my family or friends, I travel with a bunch of sleepers. So I am usually up at dawn trying to find something to do with myself till everybody else is up. So they're helpful for traveling for me as well. Alright, so now I have my little tulips that came from that punch, and I just punched out some random colors. So I have some So Saffron, I have Coastal Cabana, and then I have the Highland Heather tulips here. Tulips also say spring. And then last but not least, I have the little Easter blessings, which came out of the Itty Bitty Greetings set. So this little two-piece set has all kinds of different greetings, and it just so happens it does have an Easter blessings. So I use that. Again, I'm going to use the basic gray, and I have a little scrap of Whisper White. And all I'm going to do is cut it off at an angle, give it a little trim, and I'm going to glue it down to the top piece, top of my little grass here. And that's going to go here. I'm going to use my Starburst punch. The 2-inch circle punch and the Starburst punch make a perfect pairing. It gives you a little background for your 2-inch circle. I know it's hard, the gray probably blends in on my table here, but it gives you a little background on your punch there. So there's that guy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some dimensionals. And I'll just use up a piece here. And I'm just going to stick it down sort of at the bottom, because when you go to, oh, not to the table, when you go to glue it onto your box, of course you're going to have a little bend in it when you go to pin it together. So I'm going to put it towards the bottom there, like that. And to finish it off, I have a piece of our white crinkle seam binding. And I'm going to make myself a little bow. And I'm going to glue dot it to the little clothespin. And so these little glue dots, I guess we're going to call them, come out of the paper pumpkin as well. I'm just going to use those up. And I'm going to stick it on to my little clothespin. Clothespin. I don't know why that word was so hard earlier. Laundry pin. Goodness. And there you go. So there's our second little Easter project. Little milk carton. Little bunny bag. So there are my 2 projects for this evening. Where did my little baskets go? There we go. My little Easter basket filled with candies and flowers. and our little bunny Cadbury egg holder. I hope you enjoyed those projects. I hope you guys are creating away and sending out some sunshine and love. Send out your send out cards. Send out all kinds of stuff. People need some sunshine and happiness right about now. So I hope that you are creating and that you will recreate these projects. I hope you guys have a great week and that you have a wonderful Easter. Happy stamping, everybody. Bye-bye.